Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you for coming today. My name is Matthew Hodges and I'm your mediator for today. It's a big step getting around the table and agreeing to mediate, so I thank you for that and well done. We both had the opportunity to have a discussion on the phone beforehand, so I know you both, but just for the purposes of being acquainted, if you could just introduce yourself, that'd be great. Would you like to start?
Okay, I'm Rose.
Rose? Hi.
Hi, I work, my company is Adwork Design.
Okay.
We specialise in design and fit out.
Okay, great. We'll come back to your part in 1 second. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Jacob. I'm here on behalf of Bravo Signage Brothers. We're a pretty small signage making company.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, we all know each other. If we can use our first name terms, it's an informal process going forward throughout the day. So the day, it's all about your day really. I'm here as a neutral and independent facilitator to help you kind of reach that point of settlement. I'm not here as a judge, I'm not here as a legal advisor, but it really is a chance for you to hear and be heard, open and honest discussion, get everything out on the table, and for us to try and reach that settlement point, and that's what I'm here to facilitate today. The process itself is an informal process, as I mentioned. It's also voluntary. So at any time, if you want to go for a break, out for a cigarette, or leave the mediation entirely, then you're perfectly entitled to do so. If you could just let me know, we could have a chat in private as to how you're feeling. That would be great if you could do that. The mediation is explicitly private and confidential. So everything that we discuss today will be kept within these four walls, and any notes that I do make will be destroyed at the end of the day. So it is very important that it's a private and confidential discussion. So just a few formalities before we start. Thank you both for your mediation agreements. I've received those in the post, and thank you for the briefing notes as well. Can I just check that you've both got the authority to settle today? Have you got the authority to settle?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
And yourself, you do. Excellent, that's great. The mediation, the actual conduct of the mediation is non-binding. So anything we talk about today, anything that we discuss, you're not going to be bound to. However, if we do reach a conclusion or a settlement on certain points and issues, I will record them in the mediation settlement agreement here, and that will be then binding for the benefits of both parties and for the benefits of the settlement. The whole conduct of the mediation is also without prejudice. So anything you say today can't be used should the case progress to trial. I can't be called as a witness in a court at all. So it's on a without prejudice basis. Okay, so just a few housekeeping issues before we begin. There's some refreshments on the table, so please help yourself to food, drink, water. There is no fire drill planned for today, so if you do hear the alarm, it's real. The fire exit is on the entrance of where you came in, as well as the toilets and the smoking area should you wish to use those. Just let me know if you would like to pop out to use those. Okay, so the process, how it's all going to work today. This is the format for the mediation, so we get a chance to talk and be open together in a room. From time to time, we may break off into private sessions, and I'll let you know when that's taking place. I'll ask one of you to step out of the room whilst I'm doing that. The reason for the private sessions will be to kind of explore ideas and potential solutions privately, and anything that's said in those sessions will not be disclosed to either party, to the other side if you like, and unless you want me to. So nothing that's said in private will be disclosed. So to start, really, we start with 5 minutes of uninterrupted time, just to let me know how you're feeling. So how you're feeling on things, and it'll give the other side a chance to hear. I must ask that it's uninterrupted. Everyone's got their time to talk and run through run through there and how they're feeling. So if you can just listen for that period, I'd appreciate that. That would be great. Okay, so who would like to start?
Okay. So I'm Bravo Signage Brothers. Like I said, we're a pretty small outfit. It's just myself, my brother. We've had 20 years experience in printing and publications.
Okay.
We were given a contract by Aardvark, pretty short notice, to do bespoke signage work for them.
Okay.
They have since turned around and claimed that we didn't perform this satisfactorily, and have, well, I say cancelled it. I don't feel they've agreed to the contract terms.
Okay.
In the way that they're saying they've cancelled it. The way I see it, Aardvark is a much larger company than ours, and the money to them, what they ask, over £5,000, we'd have to get a quantity surveyor to assess what they actually ask. For them it's a drop in the ocean, but for us it's pretty big in terms of our overheads.
Okay.
We have worked with Aardvark before, once on a smaller contract, and there were no problems. And to be honest, the reputation that comes with working for them and doing this project in particular, which was a large government project, we appreciate that. That would be a big step forward for our company in terms of reputation, but the way that Aardvark have gone around cancelling our contract and querying our work, despite the fact that we did this very last minute, any changes they sent through we made,
Mm-hmm.
even at extra cost, that's left us pretty dissatisfied.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. So what you're saying is that the financial implications are severe for your business, but the relationship with Aardvark is an important factor for your ongoing business, and it's something that you would like to. It seems it's something that you'd like to maintain going forward. Thank you very much for that. Can I now turn to you and just see how you're feeling?
Well, I'm Rose, and I'm here on behalf of Aardvark. As Jacob already said, we did have a big government project,
Mm-hmm.
And we are a much larger company, therefore our reputation is extremely important to us. We do appreciate that the work was last minute, but it wasn't satisfactory.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel that we suffered damage to our reputation.
Okay.
And the relationship with the client.
Okay.
So
Okay. So to really summarise your point there, the big part for you is the reputational damage that's been caused potentially with your government contract.
Yeah.
So is there anything else at all that is affecting the business, or is it really mainly you're asking for the money for, or is there any financial impact there to the business, or is it purely about reputational?
Well, we do have financial problems as well, as we had to pay an additional contractor.
Okay. So you feel that you've had to pay twice for the job?
For the same job.
That's what you feel.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So is there anything now Jacob? Now you've heard what Aardvark had to say. Is there anything you'd like to add?
In my eyes, I don't see why they've acquired additional costs, or why. I've been to Aardvark's warehouse. It's gigantic. They've got a large operation. I don't see why they can't pay me the money owed, which like I said, seems a small amount to them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very large to me.
Okay. And is there anything you'd like to, now you've heard what's been said already, is there anything that you'd like to say?
Well, I know that we are a big company, but we do have lots of people to pay. So every money is also, big for us as well.
Okay.
And we did call back all of the work that Jacob's company did, because one of the logos, they were a different shade.
Okay.
Therefore, we did kind of have to check that everything was as planned.
Okay.
As I said earlier, we do have our relationship and reputation with our client is extremely important. So we didn't want them to be dissatisfied with our work for any future work.
Okay. Okay, that's understood. Okay, so it's very clear to me, I mean, the fact that we're here today around the table is that we want to reach a conclusion to this. And so what I would like to do, I'd like to kind of split off into some private sessions. First, if I could have a chance to talk with Aardvark. Please forgive me if I spend more time with her than yourselves, but it's not favouritism, it's just I need to get to the bottom to understand what the core issues are and explore the potential solutions with yourselves. Once I've done that, I then will ask you to return to the room, and then we'll have a private session as well, if that's okay. Whilst I'm talking to Aardvark, can you just jot down some thinking around your potential kind of opportunities to settle, so what you'd be looking for now you've heard Aardvark's position, and also just quantifying the amount of extra work that you had to do outside of the initial contract, and also if you could dig out the contract, that would be really beneficial.
Certainly.
Perfect. So if I can ask you just to step outside. Thank you very much. Okay, so how long have you been working? How long is it? You've mentioned that you worked with Bravo before. So how long have you had a business relationship with them?
A few years back.
Just a few years. Okay, that's fine. And so, I mean, in terms of the quality of work, is there anything that they could do to restore the faith that you have in them as a business? To be able to obviously to you, you feel like you've been let down. You feel that that you don't want to pay the money. But is there anything that you're thinking in terms of what could restore that? Because obviously we're here today to reach a settlement, and the potentials of not reaching a settlement today. Have you thought about what that might be?
Well, we feel that we should definitely settle this, because BS, they are a good company, and we have had previous relationships as well, previous work, and we were satisfied.
So it's a one-off.
Yeah, it is a one-off mistake, and I mean we can understand because it was short notice, but that doesn't mean the logo was extremely important, and that having that was a different colour to the rest of the logo, and this was a really big project.
Absolutely.
And so of course our client would have noticed, and as I said, our reputation is extremely important. You are aware that we are a big business.
Absolutely.
And so we did expect more, but I do take it into account that they did do a lot of extra work, and it was last minute. So this is why I'm here today to settle this.
Okay, so in terms of a settlement, you said you want to settle today. That's great, because that's the first step, really.
Yeah.
And you've heard how Bravo feels about this and how it's putting the financial strain on their business. So have you thought what a settlement would look like to you? Obviously, we've heard that there was £5,000 of work that they are asking to be paid for, plus some overtime. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, in terms of settlement, because as I said earlier, we did have to get another contractor, so obviously we have to pay the other contractor as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in terms of settlements, the money that we owe, well, we don't feel like we owe it because, you know, the work was not of satisfactory quality, and hence we had to get another contractor. But I think maybe looking at paying half of what they're saying.
Okay, so half would be an applicable
Yeah.
amount. So is that half of just the core, or would it be half of the ongoing work as well?
Sorry, what ongoing work?
So the additional work that they saying that they did as well.
That they did.
So would you just be? Are we talking £2,500, or would it be the initial £2,500 and half in general?
I mean, I'm aware they did do additional work, but if we're contracting someone and they have to do additional work, that's part of the contract. So I think we would be happy to pay the £2,500.
Okay. Are you happy for me to disclose that to Bravo?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for that. If I could ask you to step outside, I'm going to just have a conversation with Bravo just to get understanding of how they're feeling.
Yeah.
I'll put across your offer of settlement for half of the initial value of the contract, and then I'll come back to you and see how that fares. We may get back together in the room. If not, we will continue to move around. If that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. If I could ask you to leave the room, that'd be great. Just going to invite the other party back in.
Yep.
Thank you very much for waiting. Hopefully it wasn't too long. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I just want this dispute to be over. Like
Okay.
I said, small company, big overheads, that I can't really afford to be drawn out any longer.
Okay. So I had a chat with Arvar, and I think that the good thing is that they want to see a settlement as much as you do today. So that's a big win for us both. So it's really kind of what parameters we're going to settle within. They've asked me to put an offer to you of 50% of the original contract costs. They feel that although the work wasn't satisfactory to them, they do value you as a business. The previous work you did for them was good work, and so I feel that the relationship is important to them, and they put an offer of £2,500 on the table. It's really up to you what you want to do with that. You can, as I asked you to, when you left to kind of work out the financials from your side of things, what did you come up with from your side?
See, to me, cost-wise is one part, but conversely, work on future larger projects for Aardvark is another major reason why I'm here, and I'd like some, well, not necessarily guarantee, but at least that they would consider us in future. Like I say, we do take great pride in our work, in everything we do.
Absolutely. Okay, so what you're really saying is I mean, in terms of the financial offer, would you be looking to accept that, or would you be looking to make a counter offer on that basis, with the condition that you were given the opportunity to pitch for future work with the business?
I'd say that the condition for future work is very important to us. 50% does seem very lowball for what we've done, and that £5,000 was an early estimate. We're not sure unless we send somebody in to quantify costs of everything that we did on the project. or £5,000, how much it actually cost us.
Okay. So did you? Okay. So you haven't managed to quantify exactly. We need an external party to assess how much of the work
Yes.
you've actually done. Okay. So it sounds to me as if there's a potential for me to go back to Aardvark and offer that. Who would you be looking to pay for that additional costing there, or would you be looking for them to pay for that in terms of the independent assessment on costs?
I would far prefer Aardvark to pay for it.
Okay. And okay, that in terms of and have you given any thought to if we can't settle on the financial side of things, what the next step would be and how much it would cost to go to trial from this point?
I am aware of the cost of litigation and also the time, because, like I said, we're a two-man operation. We merely, we don't have the time to be going to court and sorting this issue out.
Absolutely.
I'd far prefer it was sorted out now.
Okay, so from this point, I mean, is there a counter offer that I could take back to Aardvark, explain the importance of repeat business for yourself, and also explain that you're aware of the cost and implications of going to trial on this, and that it's something that you would rather settle today. So is there a number you may have in mind?
Again, it's all conditional on future work. That's really what we want. Like I said, I've been in this business for about 20 years. I'd like to retire within the next decade,
Okay.
but that would be something that would be made a lot easier if we could have steady work on larger projects, which I appreciate Aardvark probably have contacts to get.
Okay, so if you wanted to, if you went back and agreed the 50% with the condition of additional work, would that be something that would work for you?
I would be willing to accept something around those terms.
Okay, would you want to? I need to put something over to the other side. So you want to have a kind of a think around what those terms might be in a bit more detail, because then I can go back to them, explain what you want out of this whole thing very clearly, and then we'll see if they're amenable to that. So for me at the moment, it's an acceptance of the 50%, the £2,500, with a condition to be the opportunity to pitch for new business for ongoing contracts.
I would prefer, you're perfectly right on the opportunities. I would prefer the 50% to be after a survey of the work done instead of just the flat 2,500.
Okay, great. Well, I'll pass that along. And you also mentioned you'd like them to pay for the estimate.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, are you okay for me to disclose that
Yeah.
to Aardvark? Fantastic. If I'm going to go back into the room and talk to them about your proposal. If you could just take a seat outside, and then I'll come back, and we may get back together, or we will continue in a private session.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for waiting, Rose. Apologies, that took a while, but I feel that we're getting somewhere. So I relayed the offer of £2,500 to Bravo, and I think their sentiment were that it was a low offer. What they've asked me to ask you is whether you would consider. I mean, 50% for them is they're not 100% sure of how much work they've actually done in the entirety. So what they're proposing is they get someone externally to look at that,
Okay.
to assess what that might be, but that's going to come with an external assessor's cost.
Yeah. And who will be paying for that?
He's asked if you would pay for that. But if that comes out, whatever number that comes out, they're happy to accept 50% of that. What they also would like is an opportunity to keep a relationship with yourselves and be able to pitch a future business, because they feel that this was a one-off occurrence, and they really want to maintain their working relationship with you and to build their business with yours.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Well, parts of it sound okay. For example, I mean, as I said earlier, we would also like to keep a future relationship with them.
Absolutely.
But in terms of financial side, I'm actually having to lay off staff as well, like due to downturn in business, and I will actually be struggling to make the next VAT and other payments.
Okay.
So for us to pay for an external person to assess the cost, I mean, that's really out of the question.
Okay.
And
would you like me to find out how much that's going to cost? I mean, depending on
well,
the cost of it. I mean, the alternative. I mean, would you like to? We spoke about the cost of this doesn't settle today.
yeah.
The alternative potentially is reviewing your offer. I can take it back to them.
Yeah, I mean, reviewing our offer, but I don't think we'd be able to pay for an external person, as I already said, that we've had to cut staff, and we actually have, even though we're a big business, we've had a downturn.
Okay.
And we're struggling to make the next VAT payments.
Sure.
Things.
So what would you like me to do from here?
Well, I guess we could review our offer, that I said. But paying for an external person is just... Well, actually, I would appreciate if you could let me know how much that is.
Okay.
But has Jacob said how much they... Because I said 2,500.
Yeah.
Did he say what he'd like to be paid?
I think he was, because they're in a situation where they don't know the full value of their costs. So what's very important to them is maintaining an ongoing relationship.
Yeah.
And what's very important is settling in a timely manner. So they are very aware of the costs that come with not settling today and going to trial.
Okay. Well, I am aware that the cost is, just over £10,000.
Okay.
They said that they claim that they work for. But I mean, they even though it could be argued that it was an overreaction to get another contractor.
Mm-hmm.
But I expressed earlier that this job was also a big deal for us, because as I said that there has been a downturn in our business, and so this was a big project, and we couldn't afford to mess it up.
Absolutely.
That's why we did have to pay another contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So they have done half of the work.
Okay.
Well, we still had to pay somebody else to do the other half. So I mean.
But in terms of settling this today without not progressing this to trial,
yeah.
We asked you to kind of calculate the cost of what that might be. You said it was about £10,000 if it doesn't settle today.
Yeah.
I think it's really kind of up to you where you want to move from here.
Well,
it's obviously very important to both of you to maintain this relationship,
yeah.
and that's what I'm picking up from both sides, and that's great because it just gives us something solid there going forward. So, as far as Jacob's offer to you, you would be happy to accept the fact that you would include them in future pitches. Is that
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, we would include them.
Okay, so that's that's something I can take to them,
Yeah.
and that's something that we can record in the settlement agreement to say that's something that we agree on.
Yeah.
So now it's really a case of, well, how much is owed, if any,
Yeah.
for this piece of work. Now you've said you would like to offer £2,500, which is half of the initial kind of